Hello, welcome to AgDealerTV. I'm your host this week, Scott Garvey. Scott Wine took over as CEO of CNH Industrial, the parent company behind the Case IH and New Holland brands, at the beginning of this year. I had a chance to do a long-distance interview with him, and we talked about a variety of things. Included in that was his vision for autonomy, how the brands will tackle the development, the research and development of autonomous projects, and how he sees the separation of Case IH and New Holland going forward. Here's a listen to our conversation. Do you think the path of integrating autonomy into existing equipment, like you displayed the autonomous Magnum under the Case brand, which was cabless and so strictly autonomous, but on the New Holland side, you had a T7, I think, basically, that could be functional either way. Do you think that approach that you showed in the New Holland style might be the one that gets autonomy into the field first for the majority of producers?
I do.
In the Case and the New Holland brands, will you be working will that be a focus for equipment design then, in R&D?
You know, what we're going to try to do in everything we do is figure out what customers need and want and find the best way for us to deliver that for them. And, if it's a big cash crop customer in the plains that wants to operate 11 combines at the same time, then we're going to work on a autonomous solution that allows him to do that with minimum labor. If it's a specialty farmer in, the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, where I'm from, he probably doesn't want that same level of autonomy, but he might want some of the precision tools so he can farm his small farm more efficiently. So,
are you feeling the heat from potential buyers? Do you feel a push from them to get into autonomy faster, or do you think it's still sort of something producers see on the horizon as a distant sort of thing?
I've tried to get out and talk to a variety of farmers and dealers around the country, and there are a handful that would take it as soon as I can give it to them, and there's a handful that don't care at all about it. So it really does. It depends on where you're operating, but these big cash crop customers absolutely will take it as soon as we can get it to them.
Okay. In terms of other technologies, New Holland, the New Holland division just acquired that California electric tractor company. I forget the name of it now, just off the top of my head.
No, did not acquire. We made a lead investment, but we didn't buy it. But they're a great partner. It's Monarch Tractor.
Monarch, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really encouraged by what they're doing.
Do you see the electric drive becoming taking a fairly big chunk of that compact utility and utility tractor segment in the near future, or is that also something that's going to take some time, or still see a divided market on?
Well, I think you can look at the automotive space and all of the predictions that were made about electrification that were all about a decade behind, right? It's finally starting to ramp up a little bit, but there was certainly a premise or promise, a decade ago that this was going to happen much faster. By definition, our industry is going to lag that somewhat, not just things. So I think it'll be a slow ramp, but there's certain, again, somewhat like autonomy, there'll be certain customers that really want it. Monarch's in California, and there's a reason for that, because you can imagine a lot of those California farmers, whether it's through regulatory or just personal desires, would prefer electric solutions. So, we're also looking at, methane, carbon negative, methane solutions. So we're going to look at a lot of different alternative powertrains, but, we want to be ready for electric if the inflection point comes, but, we're not going to spend, $1 billion on electrification like you see the automotive guys doing it.
Right. We're still seeing New Holland and Case offer relatively independent products, at least in the combine market, and so to some extent in the tractor market as well. Are we going to see a gradual increase in the integration in in the technology? Like, is a Magnum going to look even more like a T8 in the future? And just or are we going to, is that keeping those two brands somewhat independent and with slightly different products going to be important?
I think historically the charter those brands were given were to compete for market share. Not only were they competing with Deere and AGCO, they were competing with each other. And, my philosophy is a bit different. I'm saying we've got two very strong global brands. How can we best leverage them to win the maximum amount of market share in the global market? And I think that will tell you that we are likely to make more differentiated products than more similar products.
New Holland has its construction division now integrated with Ag, if I understand that correctly, but Case does not. Will that change?
Probably. We're forcing Case dealers to buy other people's construction solutions, which doesn't really make me very happy or feel very smart. So we'll probably stop doing that. There's a whole lot of stuff we're not talking about. I mean, we're doing so much work internally to enable us to be more agile and move faster at providing, valued solutions to our dealers and customers. And, that's not all that exciting as we try to get, smarter, faster, and better at how we bring solutions to customers. But I do think, whether it's, what we're doing with the Raven acquisition or Monarch or Augmenta or Beneman, leveraging others to bring great solutions to customers is really a mantra that we're going to have. And, the fact that we've, really created this number 2 position in this global ag market and probably haven't yet put our best foot forward gives me a lot of confidence in the future.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in and watching. For more on ag equipment news and features in the future, be sure to come back here on a regular basis to AgDealer TV.